At the scene of a fire, a firefighter dug a hole and was suddenly gripped by an invisible force that clamped down on his axe. He struggled to break free, but ended up being pulled and stuck tightly to the ground with his axe. Something terrifying seemed to be attacking him from inside the hole. But after a brief struggle, the firefighter suddenly stood up as if nothing had happened. However, after returning to the fire station, he began acting strangely. He couldn't control his hunger and started binge eating. He devoured everything in the fridge and still wasn't satisfied. Seeing him wolf down food like that, a colleague quickly tossed him a can of beer to rinse his mouth. But the moment he took a sip, he spit it out violently, clutching his stomach as he rushed to the restroom, wanting to vomit but unable to throw up anything. Feeling burning hot all over, he stepped into the shower, but his forehead suddenly started itching like crazy. He couldn't help but scratch it violently until blood flowed, but still couldn't stop. When he finally finished and looked in the mirror, he found his forehead had become ulcerated and his eyes were bloodshot with strange red veins. Yet he didn't seem to feel any pain. Then, after seeing a photo of his ex-girlfriend, he frantically threw on some clothes, barely pulling up his pants, and rushed out the door. At that moment, he had only one thought: to find his ex and let off some steam. He drove straight to the ice rink, spotted his ex-girlfriend in the crowd, and staggered straight across the playing field toward her. She saw him too and eagerly left the stands. Without hesitation, the two walked into a nearby locker room as if they had done this many times before. Meanwhile, her current boyfriend Scott, who was on the ice playing, suddenly noticed she had disappeared from the stands, unaware that she was in the locker room getting intimate with her ex. Seeing her ex in such desperation, the woman eagerly responded, but she had no idea the real danger was just beginning. The next second, the firefighter opened his mouth and a horrifying parasite slowly crawled out, instantly burrowing into the woman's belly button. She didn't feel a thing. When the man collapsed to the ground, the woman scoffed and angrily stormed out. But right as she left, she bumped into Scott, who had come looking for her. Before he could explain, Scott, sensing something was wrong, went to check the locker room, only to find a few clues on the floor, including a firefighter's badge. But he didn't know that, at that moment, the firefighter, now freed from the parasite, had already died miserably in the stairwell.